So I wanted to give some special thanks today. So we have 3 of our session sponsors here today. So Supervisor Anderson, who I introduced you to before, was very generous in getting us a grant from Contra Costa County. So thank you so much. She's an amazing woman. You're going to really enjoy getting to know her. Our next session, which is going to be in August, is with the Doyle Quain Law Group with Brittany Doyle. So it's and you have 2 colleagues here today, I think. 3 colleagues here today. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. And then Judy Knight with Thumbprint Coaching is the sponsor of our last session, which is going to be the one with Joya Fodu. That's going to be very, very popular. And I'm very excited about that. And also here with us, Laura George is doing, so Laura George, please stand up. So Laura George is our head ambassador. She runs the shop for our ambassador team, which is the PR team for the chamber. We have Valerie here, who's also one of our ambassadors, Valerie Howard. And she's going to be doing a really cool session on image branding and social media and how to become your best ambassador. So I know you're all going to look forward to that. That's going to be in October. Go ahead, Sam. And then I also want to give special thanks. So I don't know if Tiffany McFarland got here yet. I know she was signed up. So Tiffany is actually your lunch sponsor today. So, oh, there she is. Hi, Tiffany. So thank you so much. And I also wanted to recognize Dara Roca. So Fremont Bank is on our community champions. So we want to thank Fremont Bank for their support of the chamber. Thank you so much. And my very favorite person in the whole wide world, Kelly Bowers, from Three Valleys Community Foundation. Kelly is actually just an amazing role model for all of us. She used to be the superintendent of the Livermore schools, and now she's with Three Valleys Community Foundation. So as we talk about volunteerism, here's one of the people that understands volunteerism throughout the Tri-Valley better than anybody. So thank you, Kelly, for being here and being a part of our program. So Sam is just going to flip through this really quickly. So I want to give great credit to Laura Fielding, who's in the back, our events director. So Laura has started to compile the directory for all of you. So just give it a quick flip through, Sam. So all of you who have submitted information are in this directory, which is going to be really exciting. We are probably going to take it online as well, so we'll have to talk about what kind of contact information you might like to have online. But this is really for all of you, and a way for you to also keep in touch. So really excited about this. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So I just found out, literally hot off the presses, that the Grand Marshal for the 4th of July parade is in the room today. Marcia Harmon. Marcia, stand. So Marcia is with Cottage Jewel. Marcia is with Cottage Jewel downtown, and we're very excited to have her in this role. This is the 4th of July parade is done by Kiwanis of the San Ramon Valley, and what an honor for Marcia and for all of us to have her leading the effort. So thank you so much, Marcia. And then we also have a couple people from the town staff and from the county staff. Jen Kwalik is here from Supervisor Anderson's office. And Gail Israel is here from Supervisor Anderson's office. Thank you for being here. And then we have Jen Starnes, who does economic development and is the public information officer for the town. And then we have Kat Bravo, who does legislation. And is our interface with the mayor. So we are really honored and wanted to welcome you. So
hi, everyone. I'm Brittany Riley. Like Judy said, I'm the chair of the board of the Danville Area Chamber of Commerce, and we've met before. I think I've met just about everyone in here before, but if we haven't met, let's meet afterwards. I'm really, really excited today because one of our goals with this program was to make sure that everybody felt connected to the community and had kind of a sense of purpose of how can I get engaged in my community and how can that be helpful for my community, but also for me as a businesswoman or employee or whatever it is you are doing, right? So our panel today will be focused on that. Volunteerism is the word we used. You could also say community engagement. And these 3 women know a heck of a lot about it. So we all can learn from them. I know that I've known these two for a lot of my life, and I learn a lot from them. So this is as much an educational opportunity for you as it is for me, because I continue to learn from them every day. So I'll take a minute to introduce the three of you just with your bios, but I won't spend too long on that because I want it to come out organically. The other thing too is I have a couple questions written down, but I really want to hear from you all and what you want to know from them. So raise your hand, jump in, shout out. We want to make sure this is a two-way conversation. All right, so with that, we have Supervisor Candace Anderson. Then we have Mayor Karen Stepper. Hello, Karen. Hello. Karen does so much for the town. I mean, I had the pleasure of introducing her at our State of the Town, and we couldn't even then get into everything you've done for our town, so I'll save that for our conversation. And then Heather Schiffman. Heather is the Director of Government and Public Affairs for the Contra Costa Association of Realtors. First thing I wanted to talk about is the idea of volunteerism and community engagement and how that can be helpful in your business. So again, this idea that it's good for the community, but it also can be really personally fulfilling. So I wanted to hear from each of you of kind of how volunteerism and community engagement has helped you personally and professionally over the course of your career and life.
Since I'm handed the microphone, I will start. I would say that's really how I got involved in local government. And finding your passion where you want to help out in the community is the best way to start. And when I was a mother of four living down in Morgan Hill, I was practicing law part-time, and by the time the fourth child came, I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm not doing either great. And so I just volunteered to be on two different city commissions, and one was Parks and Recreation. I was a mom with four little kids. The other was Rent Stabilization, which was rent control of a mobile home park, and it went more toward my law degree, my interest in public policy. And after I'd been on those two commissions for 2 years, I got appointed to the Morgan Hill City Council. And I'm just telling you, if you ever have an opportunity to get appointed to a city council, it's easier than having to run for election. You just have to convince 4 people instead of 43,000 people that you're the one. But I will say then when I moved up to Danville, it wasn't like, I'm a former city council member, I can only serve in local government. I mean, I was immediately on a school site council. I was the ledge rep at my kids' PTA. I was volunteering in Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts, Museum of the San Ramon Valley. And again, it was just, how can I give back? And that's where you make connections. And that's where you really see how your community works and how when you do, if you should decide to run for office, really where you see the needs. So that's where I just see not only that helped my professional development, but of course, you're helping others. And that's what's really most important, is serving others, the joy that comes from that.
Thank you. And when you ask your questions, if you'd say your first name again, because I still have a few people I'm not sure in the room, and I think it's really important when you walk into a room that you know who the people are. Always use that opportunity. The reason you come a half hour early is not to eat, it's to, I'm not saying we shouldn't have eaten. I'm saying before that, the time before that, the reason to come early is that's your chance to meet people and tell them who you're with, what organization you told me about today. So don't use the following excuse. Well, I can't run for office because I have too much to do. So that's what this form is, how to run for town council. You just heard she was on the council. I'm on the council. Other people in this room have been associated with those offices as well. So it's something that is on top of what else you do, what complements your business, what complements your life. So when I started in Danville, I went door to door with the election, of course, and I had one kid on a big wheel, remember those, and one kid in a stroller. So, see, she doesn't have an excuse over here, Brittany, because she's got 2 little kids, too. So I had 2 little kids, and I was working on my master's at that point, and then I went on to work for Deloitte for 35 years. As a CPA, and during that time I was on the school board for 9 years and ran Mustang soccer for 10 years. I coached for 35 years, but I only ran the league for about 3 or 4 years before I got the opportunity to be on the council. And so what I'm telling you, it isn't one thing, it's not either or. But you try to balance those things and you change your life around. You think, I can't do it, but you just find a different schedule for your life. And because every one of those people that I meet in town, I swear I coached. So you think, well, that doesn't have anything to do with all these other things I'm going to talk about today. But it does, because it tells you what the families in this community are doing and what they're looking for, and that's your business too. So you want to be out, you want to be recognized, and you want to be in an activity that gives you that opportunity to meet new people all the time. And make sure that they know who you are and who you're with. People say, well, why are you wearing your badge again, Karen? Everybody knows who you are today. Because people don't remember who you are. They don't even remember who's mayor, because we rotate every 4 years. So don't assume that ever, and just make people comfortable by you being the one to introduce yourself and telling them how you can help them. So.
Unlike these two lovely ladies next to me, my jumping into the world is a little bit different. My volunteerism comes with my job. But what I can tell you as someone who works with elected officials on a regular basis, anybody who's interested in pursuing a business and representing yourself, there are pre-existing organizations out there that you can benefit from. So Rotary, Exchange Club, there are multiple facets through the chamber, through organizations that allow you to meet people and represent yourself. I want to say Lisa, who's in front of me. Am I correct? Yes, Lisa? Okay. I'm going to use Lisa because poor thing started talking to her. But she made it clear today. She made this for herself. She made it as a break from the everyday to get out, to be seen. You have to give yourself that. So if that means finding something that you enjoy that gives you that small break, be it coming to an event like this, going to the State of the City, going to a planning commission meeting, something that affects the community as a whole, it's worth your time. Always have a business card. I am a horrible example of having a business card. I actually have some today. That is rare. I do not wear a badge. I am a bad example as well. My badge sits on my corkboard in my office in a bag it came in. It's never been out of the packaging. So don't do what I do, but also don't be afraid to introduce yourself. For someone who wants to be in a business, you have to be willing to go out there and represent yourself and put yourself out there, because if you don't, no one's going to know who you are. So find an organization that you love, that you can participate in, and even if you can't be there physically, you can promote, but also spread the word out. So find ways and niches to get in there and build that repertoire. I mean, you guys have a great system right here. You all know each other. So you've already built a foundation. So if something comes up and you need support, you have it. So continue to find that, and I think that's what's going to help you along the way.
Sometimes it can feel really overwhelming. There are all these things that I want to do, but I have personal obligations with my family, I have professional obligations with my job, and I have a boss who has expectations. So I really want to get engaged in my community, but do I really have time? How have you each balanced that and managed that, and what tips do you have for us?
We'll go down the line again. My first piece of advice, it really is one that I offer often, which is, hey, as women, we can do it all, but we don't have to do it all at once. There really is a time and a season for different opportunities, for different ways to give back. And that was something that really helped me when I was started out as a deputy prosecuting attorney for the city and county of Honolulu, writing appellate briefs and getting to argue my cases before the Hawaii Supreme Court. I had a young baby, and my first was born, and I really didn't want to work full-time, and so I made a decision pretty early on that not everyone has that opportunity, but it was, I'm going to define my career around my family and not have my career define who my family is. And so I made a lot of career decisions where I was working part-time as a lawyer, taking city council positions, which the nice thing about being on a city council is you set your hours a little bit more on your own. You absolutely, it can be when you're mayor, a 40-hour-a-week job. I mean, there's no question. But essentially, you have to be at a council meeting twice a month in the evening and a study session once a month, and you might have some other assignments. That worked really well, or several others.
Yes.
And so that worked when my little kids were in school. I joined the Danville Town Council when my youngest was starting kindergarten and my oldest was starting college. I got appointed to that again. It's easier to get appointed than elected, and I would say I was the least objectionable candidate. But again, that worked really well with my family because I could try to, I actually would say to our city clerk, don't give me any meetings between 3 and 6 if we could help it at all, because that's kind of my time when my kids come home from school where I want to be there and I want to find out what was going on at school. I want to know what's happening. And so it wasn't until my youngest two were in high school that I ran for county supervisor, which really is a full-time job where I have 28 boards and committees, and I'm putting in a 12-hour day very, very often. And that was just, for me, it was balancing that and just saying, I'm going to give back, but I'm going to make sure that my family comes first. I'm going to sit down with my spouse and figure out, does this work for our family? Because I'm never going to look back and say, oh, I wish I had done more community service instead of spending time with my children, and even now with my grandchildren. And so my poor staff, I'm carving out a Memorial Day weekend. I miss Memorial Day activities. Instead, I was watching 5 children between the ages of 1 and 10 while their parents went to Lanai, and I was babysitting so with my husband. So, you make those choices, but again, it's all about finding the balance, finding things you love, and prioritizing what's most important.
So Candace makes that seem easy, because when I met her with the 6 kids in the audience, I said, wow, she's the most organized person I know.
Craziest person she is.
So, yes, but I'm glad. I think it's Shatana with Naru and Nala back in the back. She brought her kids with her. And she did that a lot. I did that a lot. Now I bring my puppies with me a lot. Whatever I'm doing, a sip and stroll with 2 dogs is fine. And Sabine didn't matter going with me with my dogs. So we have a lot of activities, and there's lots of flexibility you think sometimes not there. And yes, you obviously put some things ahead of time. Having a granddaughter who's a pitcher on a baseball team and the only girl in the league, yeah, that's pretty special. So I'll go to those games for sure. And then I'll come back and do other things and split the time. But the first step was what Heather said. The first step is to find what your passion is for something that gets you downtown, and especially if you have a downtown business or you're doing things downtown. When Sabine does those Christmas trees for Fostering Wishes, she's meeting all the different businesses. But you know what? That's just at the holidays. But she's going in those stores all year long so that they know who she is before she gets there. It makes a huge difference. And I did a little video with her that Jen helped me with too, was to go ahead and put it on with the idea that you have some overlap between your business and your family life. And it was the fact that we could do a little video and talk about what the business role was in that. Because unless you have 32 businesses, which we did this year, that would put those trees up and then get the people to come back to bring gifts for the fostering kids, you needed to have that synergy and that collaboration between the business and the organization. So that doesn't happen once. It's not, I go to this state of the town that I loved doing, by the way. Thank you very much, Brittany. It's keeping touch with those people. And yeah, I do have some favorite stores in town that I'm in and out almost every time I go downtown. But the others, I still try to go down and see what they're doing, because they reached out to help these people, and a lot of you in here are dealing with some nonprofits, and you have that opportunity. Find a business or something that is in synergy with your particular project or the person, and that doesn't mean that if they're selling beer that they don't also love to sponsor the dance organizations that are here. They do. You just have to find the right owner that has that passion too, and you will have a match that you will see again and again in the town, and make that a priority to see them. Do you hear when I say on the town? You have to be outside the store. It's pretty hard if you don't have somebody to help you, because it's pretty hard even for some of you, if you have a small business, to get up and go to the bathroom because you can't leave your store unlocked. So you got to have somebody cover it, right? And so I was asking what happens to people trying to look for somebody's part-time to help your business sometimes, because I don't know what you're all involved in. And they do have jobs fairs in the spring at the high school over at San Ramon, and another one at Monte Vista, to help you find kids that want some part-time summer jobs That's different from, I brought a couple flyers back there. You can pick up anything you want and take it, about seeking volunteers. And we have Amy Schell, who's our coordinator for people that want to just volunteer with the town just because you want to know more about government, et cetera, and the kind of activities that we do. You can pick that up, and that's a little different from, I said, what businesses often need is somebody who's down there. I mean, I can't tell you how many kids are at Starbucks and the new Greek restaurant and Marcia's, and people sometimes have somebody come in that's a student for a little while. It helps the student, right? And it helps you. So think of that overlap with the people in our community.
I could reiterate everything that's just been said up here, but what I will say is time is always limited. There's always something on your schedule, you have some place to be, and you can't split yourself in half. One thing that always benefits is if you have the ability to sponsor, either be monetarily or an item at an event, or your time prior to the event so you get the recognition so your name gets on there. That's one way to do it if you can't be there the day of. So that's something to always consider. It might be a limited monetary contribution. It might be your time during the week helping set up and getting things in order and packaging or stuffing boxes, just anything in order to get your name out there. And even if it's a small recognition, you still get recognized for that time. And if you can't be there, that's okay, but you still did the time, you contributed to it, you were part of the process.
That's great. And when you walked in, you were given a list of organizations in our area. These are just chamber members. And it's a very long list. We have 3 pages here. There are so many more organizations too, and all 3 of these women know all about them. All of your companions here know all about them. So, and at the end, we'll do a round robin where everybody can say any volunteer opportunities that they know of. But there's lots of ways to find something you're passionate about, because I think it is easier to get involved if it's something you really care about. Heather, I'm going to kick it back to you. So one thing that always impresses me about the members of your organization, the realtors, is how involved realtors are in their community. It's obviously something that they're passionate about personally, otherwise it would be hard to do, like we just talked about. But it's obviously must be good for business too. So I know it's not directly part of your role, but could you tell me a little bit about that ethos within your membership and how it helps them grow their business?
Absolutely. So Realtor members in general are very involved in their community. They're very connected to it. Now, while our organization, our CCAR itself only jurisdictionally covers 15 cities, our members spread far and wide. And a lot of them actually are based in Danville. We have quite a few. But their business relies on them knowing what's happening in the community. It relies on them knowing what companies are out here, what businesses are out here, what opportunities there are for those who are interested in moving to this community and any other community. And that means knowing what's available to them. So, God, I can't even think of any member who's not locally involved. One of our former board members who's an affiliate member, she was a ambassador for the Danville Chamber. So I see her every once in a while, and her name's Tracy, and but she's active. To her, it's an important concept, not only for her personally, but for her business. She's in lending. So for her, it's knowing who's out there and how to connect people, because in real estate, you're always looking for somebody. It's either you need a refinance, or you need to stage a home, or there's somebody who is financially strapped and they need assistance. And there's organizations out there to help them maintain that. And knowing what that is and what's available to them is very key and instrumental. And so members in general want to know what's happening. They want to know who's there. They want to know what businesses are there. Majority of our members, I can't remember the exact percentage, but within our membership, I want to say 60% or higher are women. And that number is growing. So there are brokers out there who are separating from their license where it's hung under a major broker, and they're branching off and creating their own real estate brokerage because they see the benefit in getting out there. But they have those connections in order to do that, which means they're bringing on other agents and other affiliate members who will be able to help them stage a home, help them print a flyer, help them market that flyer, help them create advertisement, videoing, anything and everything, photographs, whatever you need. And so in order to know that, they have to be involved in the community because they'd rather give it to someone locally than someone from out of the area. And that's key. And so knowing what's around you and what's near you is important to them, but also just knowing how it's changing constantly.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's something that I think about a lot too is, shopping locally. Like there's a lot of good that can come from your community by shopping locally, but you also reap a lot of benefit from shopping locally. It gives us, if you shop brick and mortar in Danville, our percentage of those county sales taxes from online boosts, which is good for us to help us keep everything running here. But it helps you make friends in the community that can help share ideas, and so that's great. Karen, Exchange Club. Why did you start it? Tell us about it. How can we get involved?
Okay, so the very first part is the three of us are all in Exchange Club, and as well as Gail out there too. Thank you. We have. This is a club that started in 1911 in Ohio, and it's a national club. It's not an international club, and we meet once a month instead of 4 times a month. So all those things come into what kind of organizations you have the time to belong to. And we're an organization that I always say we had the fire chief, the police chief, the Central Sanitary, East Bay Mud. All those people have been members of our club, and many of them as well as, CAR, obviously. They're all members of our organization from a lot of different things. Some of them are just retirees. Our 95-year-old is the one that gets everything into the newspapers for me, so we never give up because those people really need you. He never misses a meeting. So it's fun because it's an organization that's not our main focus is patriotism and child abuse prevention, and so we put on the 9/11 ceremony, and that's what we're planning right now. It's always on 9/11. A lot of people say, oh, I didn't know when it was. Oh, 9/11.
5 o'clock.
Well, okay, that's okay. Just come this year because it's out at Oak Hill Park from 5:30 to 5:30 to 6:30, and it involves a lot of kids. So that's another way you meet people is through the kids that you've had or the kids that you know and the activities there. When you're coaching a choir and you have 35 kids coming and the teacher at Monte Vista is bringing them to be in the ceremony because she wants them to know their history, and now everybody else gets a chance to see what our kids in the community do, and some of your activities involve kids, so you want to know them, whether it's National Charity League, etc. So I'm not going through all the activities that are in the organization, but when I look out, and I say I'm so proud of the people in the club because they all belong in something else, something different. And they're there sharing just for an hour, 12 to 1. You can get right back to your business, and it's the second Wednesday. But the main characterization of it is that everyone in the room is involved in some other organization. And that's the one that is going to help you with yours and vice versa because that's the kind of organization it is. So thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Don't know which way.
I'm going to pick on Candace next.
I'll hold the microphone.
So Candace, you said you oversee, 28 boards?
I get to serve on 28 boards and
20.
committees, yes.
So,
Sorry, I forgot
Yeah.
to say, and we have speakers every second Wednesday, and they're always regional speakers like Heather.
so 28 boards, and just doing what you do, you have such a good view into what's going on in our county. What do you see as, if there's somebody who they don't know what they want to get involved in, what are some of the biggest needs in our community right now? What are some ways that we could get involved?
Well, again, there's endless needs in various ways, whether it's helping children, considering being a foster parent, or whether it's helping the homeless, volunteering with one of our community-based organizations that helps those who are unhoused, or volunteering with the point-in-time count, substance use disorders, mental illness. I mean, the needs are absolutely endless. And what I really encourage people to do when they want to get involved in the community is go on the Town of Danville website, if you live in Danville, or City of San Ramon's website, and look at the list of commissions, because every city has commissions and committees. There's also county boards and committees. So Marilyn Coachella Lucy, where did Marilyn's back there. So Marilyn serves on two really important commissions. She serves on our First Five Commission, which is early childhood support. It uses tobacco tax to create programs to really help primarily disadvantaged families really get the support they need to help their children in those first 5 years. She also serves on the county's Commission for Women and Girls, which is empowering women, empowering young women, just addressing the wide range of topics that impact women. And so Marilyn, actually, she ended up starting, I'm picking on Marilyn, but she was involved in our PTAs. She was very involved in the San Ramon Valley Council of PTAs. Her mother-in-law actually was my appointee, who I had inherited from my predecessor on First Five, and when her mother-in-law was moving to Pleasanton, no longer eligible, she said, do you know my daughter-in-law? Maybe she would be good. And I said, Marilyn would be amazing. And so Marilyn agreed to step on and do that. And so it really is, what is your passion? What do you care about? We have a commission for you. I mean that's serving in local government. And of course, there are an endless number of nonprofits. Now, if it's something more related to transportation, like you just really want to see changes on 680, there's a Contra Costa Transportation Authority Advisory Committee. If you don't like how County Connection is rolling at any given time, the town of Danville, city of San Ramon, the county, we have a representative on our advisory board for that. If it's parks you care about, then you've got, Danville has a Parks and Arts Commission. If you happen to live in Alamo, I have an Alamo Municipal Advisory Council. Alamo is not a city, it's unincorporated, so the Board of Supervisors is sort of like their city council. So I have a wonderful group of 7 committed, really 8 because we have a youth rep, citizens of Alamo who make all of the recommendations for planning, land use, parks, recreation, transportation. Also in Alamo, we've got 2 police services committees. So if you care about police services, we've got a committee for you. And the reality is those of us who are elected officials, we're elected to talk to you. You know, we don't live in these ivory towers. Even if we, show up at meetings, we're up high in a dais, we're really elected to communicate with you. So don't hesitate to reach out to the mayor, to members of the town council and say, hey, can we go out for coffee? I just want to hear where you think my skills would be best in our community. And those of us, and same with me on the county level, we're happy to sort of talk through, well, what do you care about? What's interesting for you? There's nothing worse than being on a commission or a board where you can't stand the topic. I always tell people you have to go to the meetings first, just because not all committees and commissions are as functional as others. And Marilyn may have found that with the Women's Commission when she first joined, where we had a lot of issues going on that we had to work through. And so go and observe commission meetings or boards and think, could I see myself sitting up there? And absolutely, then we will help you get involved.
And I called on you for that not too long ago. I called Candace and I said, Candace, our childcare system is broken, and what do we do? And what can I do? And who do I talk to? Because I know that parents think about this while they're in the system, and then they move into elementary school and go, got past that, but we need to make change. And we spent, an hour on the phone together, and she pointed me in the right direction. So if nothing else, take these connections and have the coffee, have the meeting.
My volunteerism is really related to my job, but my favorite one, and the 2 lovely ladies next to me can probably agree to this, the best way to kill an idea is to take it to a meeting. And it's true, because either someone's going to tell you it's not possible or they'll reframe it for you. And that might be what you need. So best way to kill an idea, take it to a meeting.
I have one quick comment on that, because I put together a committee right when I started being mayor this time for a special project. And I have 4 people on the committee, because if you keep it small, you can get the things done. So I have one guy who can't stand the other guy, but one guy is an architect and another guy is a donor, and we all brought different skills. So remember that you always want to reach to someone who knows more than you do, who does something better than you do. So you're constantly moving this thread through Danville and learning and getting better at whatever you like to do. So.
Yes. And I was going to say, for Karen, one thing that I heard from her many times that I love about her is what matters most to her is somebody's story. And I think that has helped you get so far because people feel so much kind of compassion from you and empathy from you because you care about their story. I think that goes a really long way.
I'll just say one thing. My husband thinks that's all I do is go downtown and meet new people every day. And somebody asked me, what's a good day? And I said, if I don't meet 2 new people downtown and talk to them, it's not a good day because I've learned so much from the people that I run into. And sometimes I run into them again, and sometimes I don't. But I know they're part of our community, and I know a whole lot more about them. And it's very enlightening, and it always makes you feel enriched to know what this community's doing. So.
Heather, can you tell us more about Build the Bench?
So East Bay Leadership Council, also known as EBLC, I like to refer to them as the mothership of chambers in Contra Costa County. The board of directors is about 80 people, and we all represent different organizations throughout Contra Costa County and Tri-Valley. And yes, we actually get business done with 80 people on the board of directors. How? I don't know. But, God, how long ago? Quite some time ago, there was a discussion that was held on how to get people to understand what is expected of them when they want to run for elected office. Build the Bench program is I don't want to say 7-week, but it's a 7-session program in which speakers from all levels come in and explain to you the process of running for elected office. I think there has always been a misunderstanding of what's expected and what is going to be expected of you. You go from a private citizen to a very public figure. All your private life is out the window. So if you're not going to be comfortable with that, this is the step to understand. You have to find a campaign consultant. You have to raise money. No one likes calling and asking for money, so you have to adjust for that. What you actually have to do, knock on doors. You can't just expect it to magically happen unless you get appointed to city council, and that's a whole other conversation. But it's true. Yeah, you did, and you've been successful. Exactly, successful every time. So that speaks to Supervisor Anderson quite a bit. But the Build the Bench program is a program that East Bay Leadership Council puts on every year, and in that room you will find people who genuinely are interested in running for elected office. And these are people who go through the process, who understand it, and it may not be a timing thing, it may be they are not looking for another 2 years. I had a member who's actually gone through the process. She is looking to run for city council in 2 years, and I can't wait. Because I don't think she realized how brilliant she actually is. I had another member who did it. He went through it and went, nope, not for me, not happening. So the Build the Bench program is there to help those. So if anybody here is looking to run for elected office, I always tell people don't run for city council unless you've been involved in a local city commission or committee. And the reason I say that is because you don't understand what's actually happening at the city council level. Our organization interviews candidates every 2 years for those who are running for elected office. I cannot tell you how many candidates come in and do not know what RHNA is. For those who don't know, Regional Housing Needs Assessment. That is a key component to city council. And when we ask them, so what's going on in your city as it relates to RHNA, and you get a deer in the headlight look, it's a problem, which means they're not educated on what's actually happening in the city. They're there for their one little thing that has nothing to do with anything. I actually had someone come in running for city council telling me, well, I want to create a bus system where people can have their children on the bus, but there are safety seats on the bus for children to be locked in. Okay, county connection, that's pre-existing. You have a car seat. So that's their only niche. There's no other understanding of what's happening, and to be educated and understanding what's happening locally is important. I know today is a lot about volunteerism, and even if that means you're not on a city, county, or commission, volunteering for events, for cleanup. When cities do their big cleanup during the summers, go do that, participate in that. That is a big component. You see elected officials there all the time. You can grab Karen and tell her your life story. But she's really great at listening. She does. She listens.
She wants to hear your life.
Yep. And it's a rarity to find elected officials like the two ladies next to me. But the reality is being involved, even locally in any aspect, will get you to understand what you want to do and you want to pursue further. So Build a Bench is a program for anyone who's interested in running for elected office. I have a few business cards. I will give you one. You can email me. I will send you the link to the website. It's on the East Bay Leadership Council website. There are other programs out there. I know for our members, we do one through the state association, so that it's a Realtor running. They can get a little bit more of information from the Realtor side of it because, brainwash early on. But it's just getting out there and getting involved, and I think this mic is dying slowly.
And I just want to add, if you ever think about running for office, I'm really happy to sit down with you. This is sort of my time of year where I have already been meeting with one person who's running for Lafayette City Council, 2 people who are running for Walnut Creek City Council. That's why I was downtown this morning at Starbucks. I don't do political things in my office, and I'm not necessarily even going to end up endorsing someone, but I'm really happy to talk through with them the logistics of running for office, what their elevator speech is, how the county interacts with their councils. And to me, it's really fun to get people involved, to get people to run for office. I'd love to talk to you. So if you ever get to that point, you do Build a Bench, you want to talk to me, reach out to me. Very happy to.
August 14th is the deadline to file. August 14th is the deadline to file for council, and you can't just walk in the door. You have all this paperwork to do first.
That's true. Yeah,
I don't want you to think it's easy.
No, it's not easy, but it's doable. And
Yes.
you're bright women in here, and it's a really fun way to give back.
Sabine, do you have a question?
My favorite word of the century is collaboration. I would love to see collaboration between the businesses first, actually within the community, the businesses, the individuals, everybody collaborate to see what's the best for Danville. I'd also like to see it for nonprofits. We have tons of nonprofits all doing similar things and in our own little silos, and it would be great if we could collaborate and decide. I think we'd be more effective and do more for our benefactors. But I just would like to know what your position is on getting seeing more collaboration.
I will say from the county's perspective, our collaboration with nonprofits is essential. Government cannot do it all. We don't pretend that we can do it all. But for our ability to either contract with nonprofits or to just be partners in facilitating what they're accomplishing is critical to the well-being of the community. So I love the partnerships that we do have in the county and think from everyone, we were talked about for Danville, the parade downtown Danville. It would not happen without the Kiwanis. The number of volunteers and all of the volunteer groups they rely upon as well. But really with the foster, supporting our foster youth, other organizations that are just doing these little wonderful niche ideas that make such a difference in one person at a time's lives. So I think there's always opportunities for collaboration.
Actually, it really should be essential. We're a town that has a lot of small businesses, and that's why you have to shop locally to make it work, because you want them. They're part of the character of Danville, but you need to collaborate with the things that you are also involved with for the following reason. And I just did this with the veterans, because I've been mostly involved with veteran affairs since the beginning of my council work. And I wanted to see them collaborate on something, and it wasn't happening. So I keep saying to my Pearl Harbor group, because I've been a member of that for over 15 years, that if you don't support having this lighting of the beacon 3 times a year instead of once, you will have it, and nobody will be there because they are passing daily from our lives. And if they aren't, it's someone else. So if you're not collaborating by putting yourself at their activities and vice versa, you want those veterans to be at all these activities so they do support one another. And you already know that from watching TV the last couple of days about Normandy. You have to be there for them. Same thing for our businesses. And we don't have an IBID and all these other things that other cities have. So we wish we could get our small businesses to work together on some of these issues so that they have something that goes together. If it's an activity at the holidays, whatever it is, one of the few people who does this is Marcia Harmon. She will suddenly have things out in front for other businesses that also complement hers. But that's what it means. It means if you're there for them, for their activity, then vice versa will happen, and it will grow Danville's businesses. I'm sorry to be so Danville-centric, because we are, like Exchange Club and everything, is San Ramon Valley, so, and certainly all of our activities and our Memorial Day and et cetera is all valley-wide. So I do appreciate your showing up at these events. Thank you. Is the chamber so good at having all these mixers so that all the businesses get to know each other, and then they need to work together?
Yep,
So as the
gotta carry that
holidays
forward.
came up, as what she was talking about when I said again the other day, I wish we had more lights downtown for the holidays. That's not going to be done by me. That's going to be done by all of you. If you have a favorite business and they turn their lights off that night because they don't want to come for some reason, or they're out of town, they need to have you turn their lights on so that when we do something, it's involving all of you so that you support one another. And that's a definition on a very real idea.
Very important people to know in this room, Jen included. I mean, I love working with Jen. She's joined us from Irvine, so has really impressive experience and different insights into how we can do things here, and has been so successful in her role already. So reach out to Jen, put on these events, find ways to integrate community good into your business. And these women are all here for you too. We want to take some time to allow all of you to kind of present about your own volunteer opportunities that other women here may be able to get involved in. Try to keep it short because there's a lot of you.